So we begin this story on the road to Daisy. This journey, for me, began in the mid-1980s, after my grandmother, Gloria Kilgore, gave me a copy of the family photo album. I remember clearly Grandma sitting at my side, pointing out the different relatives and how they related to me. I remember asking her questions and even taking notes so I would never forget. These were my relatives, and they had passed away before I was ever born, and I felt a sadness for never knowing who they were. I learned at that moment how connected we really are. I searched and studied, trying to learn as much as I could about my ancestors. My grandmother opened the door of genealogy, and I walked through. This is when my journey began, to not only learn where I came from and how I came to be me, but also learning that there were many stories that still needed to be told and shared. Through the years, I have witnessed some of my loved ones pass on, and they too become the ancestors in our family album, each with their stories to tell and hold on to. The more I have delved into our family history, the stronger the pull of the universe becomes to connect me with others that are on the same journey. In this journey, there is no end destination. We are on this journey to keep the stories of our ancestors alive and pass on the tradition. This family has been keeping records, collecting stories, and passing them on to our next generation for a very long time. And the path is clear, that the goal of this journey is to carry that torch and then pass it on. So here we are, 2 years after my grandmother has passed, and a year after her brother Jim passed away, on the road to Daisy.
I'm Dusty Howard. I am the great-granddaughter of Clarence Kilgore and the great-great-granddaughter of Stephen J. Kilgore and great-great-great-granddaughter of Charles Owen Kilgore.
I don't have all that memorized. I'm Diana Rolstad Kilgore, James's daughter.
And James is my grandma Gloria's brother.
And Clarence, and he's my grandfather, my dad's parent.
This is Daisy, Washington. We're in Stevens County, and we came up here for the annual Fairview Cemetery cleanup. And what started this adventure was about in August of last year. I got a call from my cousin's widow, Tony's widow, who had passed away in 2007, and said that some family members were reaching out to her grandparents about somebody that was up in Daisy, Washington, looking or asking about Clarence Kilgore, and gave me the number of this lady. So I called her, which was Elaine. Then I called her and left a message saying, "Hi, I guess somebody's up there asking about my great-grandfather, Clarence. Please give him my number." And then she gave you my number. And then a week goes by and you called me up, and I'm like, wait, this is my great-grandfather and it's your grandfather?
Yeah.
And so we found each other, and then she had gone up here. So
Just a pilgrimage to see where my dad was born and where the family homesteaded.
And James had just passed away in like June, and this was August.
In June, and this was at the end of July. I came heading this way, and
Came up in August.
Right then.
And you called me up, you were like, I just moved from California, I'm a nurse. And I'm like, I'm a nurse.
And I live in Richland.
And I was like, I live in Richland. And so we were able to meet at the park, and Diana had all the family photo albums that I have seen growing up, all my life, copies of. And then she pulls out
Stuff I didn't even know I had.
and she didn't know what it was.
Amazing stuff.
And she pulls out these glasses. I'm like, oh my gosh, those are Reverend Eli Bartlett's glasses.
And this emblem.
And the Charles Horatio's hat from the Spanish-American War.
And journals that I didn't even know I had. For 10 years I had them.
Of those people that walked on this ground
I didn't even
over
know
100 years ago.
that I had 2 more generations of grandfathers up here that were homesteading before my grandfather.
Yeah.
Until all that.
I know. So through Diana's hard work in connecting a lot of her family, and through our ancestors reaching out to us, we were able to come up on this pilgrimage once a year and meet up with some of the other Kilgores and visit our family's grave sites and be able to see this place. And we believe this may have been the site where they took pictures that are in the photo album from like the early 1900s.
And not only did we come up here for this event, which has gone on for over 105 years, on this Saturday in May, we doubled the group size, the normal locals who do it.
The family donated. There was a family member that lived near and donated the chunk of land that went to the Fairview Cemetery.
And many of those generations, they've stayed
Continue
there.
to take care of it, and every year they get together and they take care of the grave sites.
And there could be like 5 people, maybe 15, and today there were 30 some of us.
Yeah. And we did learn today that even though there's only 3 grave marks that are marked, grave sites that are marked with
2 more relatives.
there's 2 more relatives buried there. We think that Vern might be one of them. Maybe Glenn. So we are here.
Dusty's this great investigator who uncovers these 100-year-old articles, all this fascinating stuff that we are learning.
Well, I think it's mainly the biggest important thing for all of us is that our family has been taking such good of our family history and
it
making
circled
sure
around and brought us back.
it did, and we're just continuing on what they've started. It's a shame to lose it all now. They've been keeping records for well into the 1800s, and so we're just continuing on.
And the way I think that we did that today in a big way was just to bring the younger generations there. They didn't maybe even remember Grandpa Clarence and Grandma. They were too little or not born.
I was still in
Your
grade
kids
school.
weren't
Yeah.
born. And we can see the land and sort of be amazed by the fact that we have what we have because they did what they did. And you know, it's funny because we think, oh, the hardships they must, I don't think they thought that at all.
Mm-mm. They loved it here. And who wouldn't? I mean,
Yeah.
look around. Thank you guys for being
best.
here too.
I mean, I couldn't have imagined this
is
last August.
They were almost late.
And then that happened today.
I know. This is
And then we're having a family reunion.